everyone, my name is Marissa and I'm going to do a tutorial today for the Potomac Bead Company, and for today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this bracelet that I'm calling my Evaline bracelet. So this is how it looks, and this project features the new exclusive to Potomac Bead Company, the mini Ava bead, which are these Aztec gold V-shaped beads right here. And so they're V-shaped like the Ava but smaller, so which is why they're mini Avas. They also feature the the StormDuo bead, which is another exclusive bead to Potomac Bead Company. So to make this project, you will have to purchase these beads from them. You will not be disappointed. You will love them. So for this project, we are going to need, as I said, mini Ava beads. This bracelet, I used 22. It's a little big on me, so I'm going to use 20. And I took out the wrong package, but this is how they look. Well, you can see them on my bracelet, but this is how they look. And for today's, I accidentally pulled out my gold color. I'm going to use the bronze, a dark bronze color. So this is how they look, and I'm going to use 20. You also need StormDuo beads, and I'm going to use the metallic aqua. You need some 4mm beads. On these, I use 4mm check fire polish. For today's, I'm just going to use some round 4mm beads I have that look like this. And they also happen to look like the table cut button that I'm going to use to fasten my bracelet. On this one, I use a clasp garden fastener. On the one I'm going to make with you, I'm going to use one of these lovely table cut buttons. So I'm going to use the crystal travertine. And as I said, they do go with my 4mm rounds that I'm going to use. You will also need, for the middle, some 5mm beads. I'm going to use some melon beads, and this is how they look. And this is the, I can't remember the name of the color, but it's a white, I believe it's like a white travertine color, or maybe like a white Picasso. So this is how they look, and they're 5mm beads. They are melon beads, but I'm sure you could use just a regular 5mm round bead. You will also need some seed beads. I'm going to use 15-0s and 11-0s. I'm going to use two colors of my 15-0s. I'm going to use they're all Miyuki. I'm going to use the light bronze and the black bronze. For my 11-0s, I'm going to use the antique ivory pearl Ceylon. This is a 2-needle project. Size 10 will work, so go ahead and thread on. For my size, I use 6 feet of thread, and I'm going to use Wildfire 0.006, again, on the one I'm going to make with you. You will also need scissors or something to cut your thread with. I'm going to use the Ultra Thread Zap, and a pair of pliers. I'm going to use a pair of flat nose pliers. So, as I said, I threaded on 6 feet of beading thread on my needles, and that is good for the size that I'm going to make. Mine is just under 7 inches. So go ahead and get your stuff together, and then I'll show you what to do first. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is make little piles of your mini Avas, your melon beads, or whatever round you're using, your StormDuos, and your 15-0s. And we're going to start with that. I got my 2 needles threaded, and you're going to pick up one of your melon beads, put 1 needle through it, hold it, and make sure both of your threads go through it, so you have equal amount of threads on your needle. And then you are going to pick up an Ava like this, with your needle on your left hand in this hole, your needle on the right hand in this hole. So that is how your needles are going to go on after your melon bead. Hold everything and pull. So this is what you have. Now once you're coming out of your unit like this, pick up a StormDuo like this, a 15-0, and a StormDuo facing the opposite way from what you picked up. So this is how you're picking up your StormDuo. There's one needle, and on my other needle I'm going to do the same thing. StormDuo, 15-0, StormDuo. So this is how we're picking up our beads now in this next step. Let those drop. Pick up your next Ava like this. And I'll show you everything as soon as I get everything on my, everything threaded. Show you how it should look. So this is how your little unit should look. And then pick up another melon bead, cross through it with one needle going in, coming out in the other direction, and your other needle going in, coming out in the other direction. So your threads should be coming out like this, and this is the first part of your bracelet. This is how it's going to go for your first step. So let's pick up an Ava and do that again. Let it drop. So your little melon beads, or your whatever type of round beads you're going to be using, are going to be nestled in your Avas like that. See how it's in your little Avas there? And then from here, do the same thing again. Pick up your StormDuos, your 15-0, and your StormDuo on each needle like that. Let it drop. I'm going to pick up on my other side the same thing. StormDuo, 15-0, StormDuo, like that. So this is what I have on both my needles, letting them drop. And I'm going to pick up my next Ava bead like this. And there we go. And we're ready for our next round bead. So I picked up my round bead and I put it there in the center, and I'm just going to keep doing this all the way down until I finish all of my mini Ava beads. And for this one I use 22 Ava beads on this one, and it's a little bit big on me. So on this one I'm going to be using 20 of my Avas, and once I get all 20, and once you finish your Avas, I will meet you back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I already finished doing the length that I need. Finished up all my 20 mini Avas, and I'm coming out. You should have started with your bead, with your round bead, and ended coming out of your round bead. So if you're coming out of anywhere else, go back and see what you did and fix it. So you should be coming out of a round bead like this. Now, I'm going to add my cut button. So I'm going to pick up some 11-0s. I'm going to pick up 3 11-0s on each needle. And I'm going to use the champagne color because they go best with this gold here. And then I'm going to pick up an 8-0, and I'm going to go through my 8-0 in the same direction. So I'm not going to cross through it. I'm just going to go through it in the same direction. I'll just kind of fix that because you want it to be centered. So this is what we have. And now I'm going to add my little table cut button. So I'm going to pick up 2 11/0. Gonna go through my, on one needle, 2 11/0, go through my table cut button. I'm going to decorate the top of my table cut, so I'm just going to pick up 3 more 11/0, go down the other hole of my table cut button, like that. And then I'm going to pick up 2 more 11/0, and then I'm going to go into this 8/0, and I'm going to wait there. Now I'm going to get my other needle that's coming out of my 8/0, and I'm going to go, and everything's loose now, that's fine. I'm going to go through these 2 11/0 that are before my button, go through my button, go through the 3 beads that are on top. And the reason it's so easy to go through these is because it's not tightened yet. So that's why you're able to do it this easily. And then go through your button, go down those 2 11/0 that are after it, and go through that 8/0. Now you want to take both of your strings and pull and tighten. So with one needle, with one needle, go down one side here on these 3 11/0, and then with your other needle do the same, but with the other 3 11/0 on the other side, and don't catch your button. So this is where we should be. Okay, so I already did this side, but once you're coming out of these 11/0 here, right, the ones that are part of your cut button grouping, and you're coming out of those 3 11/0, go in through the melon bead, cross your needles in through that melon bead. So left goes in, comes out on your right side, right goes in, comes out on your left side, and pull. And I already did this at my left side. So I'm coming out of my melon bead, and the other one, do the same, cross through it, pick up 4 15/0. Now I'm going to use the gold, and then go through your StormDuo. So I already have that done on this side. Now from here, I'm going to start using my 4mm round beads. I'm going to pick up 15/0, and I'm going to use the bronze. 4mm round, 15/0. Go through my next StormDuo and pull. Then from here, it's going to be 15/0, 11/0, 15/0, and go through your StormDuo. So go ahead and do that all the way down on both sides. So I'm going to do the other side. Coming out of this StormDuo, it's going to be 15/0, 4mm round, 15/0, through my next StormDuo and pull. Then it's going to be 15/0, and I'm using my gold, 11/0, 15/0. Okay, so I'm using 2 different colors on my 15/0s. You don't have to. I like doing that, but you can just use one. Okay, so this part, pretty simple. Coming out of my StormDuo, 15/0, 4mm round, 15/0, go through your next StormDuo and try not to get too ahead on one side. Do a couple and then go back and do the other side. And then 15-0, 11-0, 15-0 through my StormDuo. And this StormDuo is clogged. I didn't check it. That's okay, I'll fix it. But go ahead and do this all the way down your bracelet. Now on here, I'm using 4mm rounds. On this one, I use 4mm check fire polish. So, but experiment with different types of beads. This is just the embellishing part. So you don't have to do fire polish. You can do rounds, you know, try even rondelles. So see what you can come up with. And I'll meet you back and then we'll do our loop. Okay, so I finished adding all of my beads on the side, on both sides, and you end it just the way you started here with the 4 15-0s on the side. So once you added your last grouping here and gone through the StormDuo, add 4 15-0s and go through this round bead, and then on this side do the same thing and go through the round melon bead. So both of your threads should be coming out of the melon bead. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did over here. I'm going to pick up 3 11-0s on each needle. And then I'm going to let those drop. I'm going to pick up an 8-0, and both of my needles are going to go through the 8-0 in the same direction. I'm not going to cross through it. So this is how they're coming out. You're going to be tempted to pull super tight on this bracelet. Just pull tight enough to where everything is sitting right. And if this starts to look weird, just flatten it out again. Okay? Now, I'm going to pick up a bunch of beads to make my loop. And I'm going to make my loop with 11-0s. Simply because it does look really pretty when you do this with 15-0s. But since I like to use size 10 beading needles, I have a hard time. I do have a bit of a hard time when I want to reinforce my loop and I use 15-0s. So, but you know, use 15-0s, use 11-0s, whatever you like. You can even use 8-0s for this part. And I'm just going to pick up enough that will accommodate my button. So I'm just going to try it out. And I did decorate the top of it, and this looks like it'll work. So I'm going to go back down my 8-0, go through these 3 here, and I'm going to stop there. Put my needle down, and I'm going to pick up my other needle that's coming out of my 8-0, and I'm going to reinforce all through this loop by going through all of these beads again. I'm just going to reinforce, and once again, this is very loose because I haven't tightened it yet, so that's fine. It'll all get tightened up after we're done with this. So just go through all of them. Make sure you don't skip any seed beads. It's real easy to skip, just don't. I did that once before, and even though it was on my loop, I mean, I knew it was there, and it just really bugged me. Okay, I'm going through this 8-0. And then now I want to go through these 3 beads here that don't have anything going through them. The other side does, but this side doesn't. So I'm going to go through these, and I'm going to pull. I'm going to grab both of my needles and pull. So now I'm going to cross through this melon bead again with both of my needles. So our loop is done. Okay, so we're almost done. We don't need to add any more beads, but if you're doing this project with me, you'll notice that it's kind of loose. And you can just tie a knot already and just end your project here. But I'm going to do one more thing. And I'm glad I did. I did it to this one, and I really like it because it stiffened up my bracelet, and I really like it better like that. So I'm going to do the same with this one. I crossed my needles back through this melon bead. Now I'm going to take each of my needles, and I'm just going to go through all of these beads again from my first step. So it's basically like doing your first step again. And then I'm crossing through this one. It's because these melon beads are rather heavy. So if you're using melon beads, it would be a good idea to do this step. And it honestly doesn't take long. And you're going to get a good stiff bracelet when you're done. So and on this side, I'm just going to catch up. Coming out of my melon. So I'm just retracing my first pass actually, because I went through my Ava, my StormDuo, my 15-0, my StormDuo, my Ava, and then I'm going to do the same thing like before. I'm going to cross through my melon bead. So this part's pretty simple. It's not hard, and it's going to strengthen up your bracelet really good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back after I'm done. Okay, so I reinforced the center here, and then when I came out, I ended up over here at this end, and I went through this melon bead, then up these 3 11-0s, all of this 8-0, these 11-0s, through my table cut button, through these beads, and then back down, came out. And once I came out, down these 3 11-0s here, I went in through this melon bead again. As soon as I came out of the melon bead, I went through these 4 15-0s here, through the StormDuo, through the 15-0, and then I stopped there and I did half hitch knots. I did about 5 of them on this side. I already finished my left side. So now on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do about as many knots as I can, and what it's going to do that is also going to reinforce this outer part of your bracelet. So, but as it is, my bracelet already feels a lot better than it did. It just feels stronger, so I really like it better like this. So I really do recommend that you do these 2 final reinforcement steps. So like I said, with this last step, and I already did my left side, and I'm up here, and what I'm going to do is my thread is just here, just there. I'm just going to meet them after this melon bead, and I'm just going to tie a knot towards the back. But first I gotta reinforce this side, making my half hitch knots. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm also going to reinforce my loop, and then I'll meet my thread and tie a knot, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I'm all done. I've reinforced both sides of my bracelet, including my loop and my button, and this is the end result. This is our Evaline bracelet, and I'm going to try this one on for you because I really like these colors. And whoops. Okay. Here we go. And this is how this looks. This is from my other bracelet that I was wearing. But this is how it looks. This is our Evaline bracelet. And again, this is with the new exclusive Potomac Bead Company mini Ava beads. And they're these bronze colored beads. I hope you like this. I really enjoyed making this. This is a very simple bracelet to make. So that kind of makes up for the fact that you need to do some reinforcement, I think, in my opinion. So this is what we got. And I used a table cut button on this one. On my other one, I use a clasp, garden clasp, which is also very lovely on this. So this is what we have. This is our finished piece. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed making this, and thank you very much for watching.